I've learned to love the game because if you want to date men, you have to also recognize that you're opting into a game.
I saw you post something on your story the other day, and it was about the word prostitution getting thrown around.
Are
And
you
me
playing it?
myself, I would say, from my knowledge, I would say when there's any sort of like monetary exchange for sex, whether that's bags, holidays, whatever, I would say that's a form of prostitution. You was basically saying no, you don't agree with that, or what was you saying? What's your stance on that?
So, first of all, the word prostitution, for those who may need clarity, is sex work.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue I take with the word prostitution is oftentimes people use the word prostitution in a negatively tinged way,
Okay.
almost like to chastise a woman. I get
Mm-hmm,
called a
mm-hmm.
prostitute for saying that I wouldn't date a man who can't take care of me, let alone
Right.
actually engaging in
Yeah. I get what you mean.
activities where I'm
Okay.
being paid.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really interesting about this conversation I was having regarding prostitution was this came off the back of me saying that the thing people don't want to recognize is, and this is going to be very controversial to say, but marriage also is sex work because a lot of women, what they're doing
Oof.
is, yeah, and this is controversial to
Go
say
on. I'm gonna
because
hear this. Let's hear this.
in your definition where you said earlier about prostitution, where, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like you sleep with a man, you get money, or you hang out with him, you get money. Why I say marriage is prostitution is because what happens is women engage in marriage from a place where, okay, ideally he's gonna take care of you financially, and there's a home for you both
Mm.
to live in. And what you are doing is you're fulfilling a role. So you're gonna either be some sort of like homemaker, homekeeper, you're raising and rearing the kids, and you are partnering with him and sleeping with him in the hopes that the trade-off will be that you get validation, love, and upkeep. And the man understands and believes that if he continues to fulfill that role for you, then the arrangement works because marriage is an arrangement. Now, why I say it's prostitution is because whilst it's not necessarily on the surface, you're fucking for a transactional exchange, there's something that you're fucking for.
But then there's the basis of a relationship. I guess the reason why prostitution is the prostitution is because it's sexual. It's nothing but sex. So you get the sex, you go. Whereas a marriage, to even get to the marriage, there would have been a build of a relationship, friendship. Gone through a few things,
Mm-hmm.
families involved. Maybe you might even have kids now. So I think that's why that would be the
People wouldn't
difference.
understand that. And why I'm fascinated by that is because what people really miss out on in that conversation and in their opposition to the idea of marriage being a form of sex work is once you stop being able to render that service to the man, he leaves you. So, for example, I've seen countless situations where the woman has gained weight after having children, and the man has decided he doesn't want to be with her anymore because either her libido has lowered, so she's no longer interested in having sex. She doesn't feel good about herself. She doesn't want to have sex. So that man moves on. Or the woman becomes disabled or becomes sick and
Mm.
needs long term care from her husband. And he leaves because he can't be asked and he doesn't want to do that and he can't have sex with her anymore. So, what I've observed is that once men stop seeing you as the person that can fulfill that transactional need that they want from you, their energy switches up very quickly.
Do you think that's the case majority of the times? So they,
Unfortunately, majority.
you think so?
I won't say every single
Because do you
man,
not
but
feel like when
majority.
you get to because I can't speak because I'm not married, and I do feel like
Me
marriages
neither.
get a bit stale. I guess what I've heard they do, and like from research and that stuff. So I guess I get what you're saying, but then I can't remember what I was going to say now about what was he saying?
When I was saying that the men leave when they can't have their
No,
needs
I'm
met.
saying, yeah. Do you not feel that after a while that some men just stay anyway, even if it's
I think
because
most men just stay because
yeah,
it's easier to stay
convenient.
than to leave.
Yeah, so at least they still stay. So there's
The,
at least they're not going
the
then.
only times a man is going to leave a marriage is if he's already patterned the replacement. Men, if a man has not found your replacement, he's happy to just stay and just we've got a
Make it
roof over our
happen, make
head.
it work.
We've got lots of our names together on joint accounts. It's long to leave. Once he's found a replacement, suddenly he's ready to be the one that will even initiate the breakup. A man is rarely ever going to tell you, you know what, let's end this. They're happy to co-spy and drag you along until you're ready to end it. And this is why I'm very radical in my work. A lot of people will not like my approach or they might not like my lifestyle, but genuinely, like I'm having the best experiences with men that I've ever had. As
Really? Has
opposed to
it
when I
been?
used to be because I used to be I started from pick me and then I evolved into what I am now, where I've learned, okay, pick me don't work. it just doesn't work.
Okay.
So now I'm in a place where I date very selfishly, and like there's men who will give me attention, and just from the onset, I'm not going to give the attention back. I can just tell from the environment we've met in, you're not the guy for me. And that's okay. Like, look, you're probably spending all your money on your drip, and I love that for you. You can't afford to do anything for me. Like the things that I would require as a woman, you can't.
There was a comment that was highlighted. Says that marriage is sex work argument really pisses me off. If y'all want to sell your box, sell it, bro. But please stop blurring the lines with the effery because you have never seen a successful marriage in your lifetime. Every day, women are getting harder to defend. What you got on this, Chanel? It's Coco. Oh, you on mute, so you know. It's at the bottom of the screen right there. Hey, you can't do it. I mean, hold on.
And Don Julio was kicking our ass, JR. That Don Julio.
It's like a little microphone.
Yeah, like a little bright line. It's frozen. Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sham Monet.
Okay, so there are a lot of things I made notes, right? We'll start from the back and then go up. I do agree that men do stay in relationships they're not happy in, right? But I also agree that I disagree. I think that if you're in a healthy relationship and you're in love, I don't think men are just leaving their wives. I think they try to work it out. They try to stick in there. I don't think that because she gains weight. I've seen healthy relationships, like old girl said, and the woman is big, he in love, they doing it together, they don't even care. You know, it's just, I see a lot of that. I'm from Alabama where love is real. These people have been married for years and they continue to be married. So I just see something very different than that. Now, as far as arranged marriages, maybe that is a little transactional, and I'm not gonna get into it because you do what you do, that's your culture. But having sex, and this goes back to sex, right? Prostitution. And this is why I think that women should close their legs. I do not believe, you're right, prostitution, when you do something for exchange of something, that is, that's giving off transaction, which is kind of like prostitution, even though prostitutes just go in and do it. And I actually think they have higher standards, because at least that prostitute is telling you, you ain't gonna get my time in my vagina for free. Some of y'all got men calling you once a month, popping in, popping out, and y'all just like, okay, here you go, free cookie. I'm not getting nothing, no love, no hug. He ain't even spending the night. So in that case, that prostitute has a higher value on her vagina than you do, which goes back to what we were talking about before. Just close your legs. Stop just freely having intercourse with these men who are not even willing to commit to you. And I'm talking to myself too. To commit to you, provide you absolutely no security. Because what are you getting out of? You're not getting anything out of that. Because guess what? Every time you go with another man, it's devaluing you. You know, absolutely, and you're getting nothing out of it. Half of y'all ain't even getting a happy ending out of it. More than half of you, it's like 8%, right? So what is
More study?
It's even more reason to what we were talking about before, that you should close your legs. And as far as another thing brought up, and I think all of these situations that we've been talking about, every single scenario brings me back to the very first one with DG and Holly. Because one of the things that stands out to me is the chase, right? Is it possible that Holly was a chase? Like, she's like a catch. And maybe he caught it and now he's got it and now I'm a little bored of it. It's a little bit too much like a hold down, you know what I'm saying? So when I say hold, HOLD, like he's held, it's like it's not the same as it was before. Like, so I mean that's a possibility too. I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna stop. That's my input.
I think that last part, a lot of people are invested in the chase, but not the catch. So absolutely right about that. Um, but I just always just revert back to the thought that women like these are the exception and not the rule. Um, and we just have to remember that because when it comes to gender relations and us being able to relate to each other, just remind yourself in real life the people and how they carry themselves, and the people that you choose to be around, the people that you choose to have in your inner circle, the people that you choose to trust, to access you intimately, whether we're talking about friendships or relationships, and let the rest of this internet shit go. I have to remind myself all the time because it's very discouraging to watch things like this from men and women, and keep a positive outlook on the opposite sex. It really is. So if you're not careful, it can seep into yourself, into your conscious, and you're really thinking like, oh, this is what's happening out there. um but as it pertains to marriage, I think that marriage is an exchange, and there's no robbery in exchange. I think if those two people signed up for something and they both are aware of what they signed up for. We talk about the women all the time who want um a financially healthy or stable partner, but we don't talk about the men that want trophy wives. I think let the men that want the trophy wives and the women that want finances find each other, and that there's no robbery in that. They are both signing up for something, and hopefully they're both getting it. And for the rest of the people that are signing up for more noble things in marriage, you guys find each other. And then I'm not judging anybody on either end. I'm just saying, just be careful and be mindful of the compatibility. Like, when are we gonna start going to like counseling before we get married? We always want to do it after. Fit so you could kind of gauge where people are at before you marry them. Hey, what are your expectations in this marriage from me? Why do you want to marry me? Why aren't we asking these questions? Because if she's saying that she's marrying you because she wants to maintain a certain lifestyle, you may think she's marrying you because you make her laugh. I don't know. But y'all need to get on the same page, because clearly there's two people getting into these relationships and y'all have different agendas, and that's where the problem is.